Hello everyone, how are you? I'm so excited to have you with me for a live. I like my little dance music. True story, I took tap dancing all through my elementary and even into my middle school years. So I don't think I still have my tap shoes, but maybe at some point I'll have to break them out. No, I won't. That is just a joke. I want to check in, see how everyone's doing this morning, and then we're going to get to our first ever edition of Bakeshop Mystery Trivia. It should be a lot of fun. I have prizes in store. Hello from Massachusetts. Hello, Catherine. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here with us. Hello from BC. Hi with the other Vancouver. You know, I grew up in Vancouver, Washington. And so everyone always assumed that I was from Vancouver, Canada. And I was okay with that. That was great with me. Hi, Steph. Hi, Renee. Welcome, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Does anyone have anything exciting planned for the weekend? My weekend is going to involve reading. I'm reading The Golden Hour right now. I'm just maybe like 10 chapters in, but I am absolutely loving it. I know I've talked before that I am a huge fan of historical fiction, so, you know, you have me if it's historical. Plus, this one features the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. My favorite topic. Hi, Sarah. Oh, thanks so much. I'm super excited. The reason that I thought, hi, Cindy. Hi, Alicia. Welcome. I know when we were waiting for the live to start, I try to read the comments as I'm doing my terrible dance moves. And I see that some of you are new, so I'm so happy to have you here. I want to let you know that for this trivia, there are no real spoilers. I'm not going to give away any of the murder weapons, any of the victims. We won't reveal killers from books. There might be some like global series stuff, but nothing that if you're just starting out is going to ruin your reading experience, I promise. Okay, so I want to share how this idea came to be. First of all, I love trivia. My husband and some friends and I often go to trivia night at one of our local restaurants here, and it's always so fun just to test your knowledge. And because book 11, Nothing But Trouble is coming out next week, I wanted to do something fun and different for this Friday live. So while we have been staying at home for the most part, our local Jackson County Library system ran a Star Wars trivia contest a month or so ago that my husband and son, who are huge Star Wars fans, there they are. We were at Galaxy's Edge in the end of December and early January, and they were losing their minds over Star Wars in real life. Anyway, they won. They actually won the Star Wars trivia contest for the Jackson County Library. So I thought it would be super fun to try it with all of you here. Now, I have some bigger and better ideas in store for how we might do trivia moving forward. So I would love your feedback as we go. Today is just going to be fun because I'm getting ready for the book launch. This is just pure fun. Anyone who participates right now, wrong answer, right answer, it doesn't matter. I'm going to send a signed book plate to, and at the end of trivia, we'll talk about how that's going to work. And then I'm also going to pick 5 random comments. Again, you don't have to have the right answer. I'm just going to pick 5 random comments, and those winners I'm going to sign and personalize a book and send it to you, maybe with a special Nothing But Trouble sticker inside too. So this is just for fun. We're going to share our answers right here in the comments. We can dialogue back and forth. And then at the end, we can brainstorm together what you liked about it and what we might do if we do a more competitive, cutthroat edition of Bakeshop Trivia in the future. Okay? Sean, I'm so excited that you're going to start the series. That always makes me so happy when new readers get to discover jewels from the beginning. It's the best. Oh, and Kelly just finished Meet Your Baker. Yay! There's so much more to come. There's so much more delicious baking and, just a touch of murder to come. I'm glad that if you're just starting out, Liz, it's totally fine. This is gonna be kind of like a general and just for fun trivia morning, and just a way for us to all get to share some time together. So No pressure, but yeah, if you guys get the questions wrong, I'm going to judge you. No, I'm not. I'm totally kidding. Oh, Steph loves my shelf. My husband built those. Aren't those amazing? They're like a honeycomb flower pattern. I love them too. And I like to change them out every once in a while. Okay, yeah, Alice, is that Allison? Allison, if you're only on book 4, it's totally okay. No spoilers. I'm not going to give away any major plot points in our trivia. Newbies are welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And I hope it's fun. I threw in a couple challenging questions and some questions that you should just be able to find based on, maybe even having a window open. I'm not going to say that you can't cheat. I refuse to say that. You can do whatever you need. And like I said, everybody gets a prize. Everybody's a winner today. We're all going to be winners for the weekend. Oh, Carolyn, your son's a huge Star Wars fan. My son is named Luke as well. Oh, her grandson is named Luke. But yeah, I have a Luke in my life too. It's a good name. It's a great name. Okay, so let's go over a few little quick rules. Rules is, a strong term for what we're going to do today. I'm going to give you the questions. They're going to come on the screen here. You're going to have 30 seconds to type your answers in, and then we will reveal the answer and we'll move on to the next question. And we'll do that for a while. I have 20 questions planned, but I don't know if we'll get through all 20 of them. Maybe we'll save some of them for later. I want you to have fun with it. Any answer is welcome. And then at the end, like I said, we'll go over how you get book plates and how I'm going to choose winners. So, who is ready? Are you ready to test your Bakeshop mystery knowledge? Let's do it. Are you ready? Drum roll. Question number 1. What is Jules' full name? I want her full name. She has a first name, a middle name, and a last name. Let's count it down. You've got 30 seconds. Go. You guys are so good. I don't know if anyone got that wrong. Nicely done. Okay, question number 1 was Juliet, Montague, Capshaw. I just love that because it's a play on Shakespeare, of course. In fact, I had a Shakespeare question at a pub quiz that we did, and it was like, what is Juliet's name? And instead of saying Capulet, I was like, Capshaw, and then saying to the quizmaster, like, no, of course it's Capshaw. No, it's not. It's Capulet. But yes, I think you all got it right. Well done. Nice job, Robin. I just saw like Juliet. Okay, I hope 30 seconds was enough. Did that feel good to everybody? Did you feel the pressure? Are you feeling nervous? Okay, we're one question down. Let's move on to question number 2. Every book in the series, every book, even book 11 that's coming out, begins with these words. What are these words? Go for it. Okay, I feel the pressure for you. I'm like, 30 seconds goes by fast. Okay, every book in the series begins with these words. Are you ready? They say. I saw that some of you got this. Well done, Christella. I'm impressed. I didn't do this intentionally. I started the first book out with, they say blah, blah, blah. And it just kind of became my thing. I ended up liking it. And so now every time I sit down to start a book, I kind of set an intention of what's the theme, the overarching theme going to be for the story. And that initial quote, I hope, sets that tone for you. So well done. I am so impressed. You guys are super super great trivia masters. Wow, holy smokes. Okay, all right. I might have to make the questions harder. See, I was thinking these were relatively easy. It's okay, it's gonna get harder. All right, here we go. Question number 3. Who's ready? What is the name of the ship that Jules and Carlos worked on together? Go for it. Okay, I think it's getting hotter in here. I like this, Megan. 30 seconds wasn't enough time for me to grab a book and cheat. I said cheating is totally acceptable. Now remember, this is the first time that we're doing this project together, so you will know for future episodes of our Bakeshop Mystery Quiz Show Challenge that you might want to have a stack of books on hand or like a Goodreads window open or something. Marie says the Titanic. Good guess. Let's see what is the name. The Armoire of the Seas. Oh, so romantic. Love it. Chad. Of course, Chad. Well done, Chad. I love it. Yes, I came up with that name because it had to be something romantic. For those of you who are newer to the series, you'll learn more about Jules' time at sea as the series goes along. But I think the one thing I always like to note is if you think of her working on a cruise ship, this is not a humongous giant like behemoth of the sea. It's a boutique, beautiful, exquisite cruise line that caters to foodies and travels to more like remote ports of call. Although I have been thinking in my head, what would they be doing right now? They'd be grounded. So it's a good thing Jules made the choice to come home to Ashland. All right, I'm super impressed. Kelly says, Carlos makes me swoon. I love it. Carlos makes me swoon too, especially when I'm writing him. And I have to tell you, that when I was first coming up with him as a character, my husband would be like, who's your inspiration for Carlos? I think we need to talk. Okay, let's see. We are on to question number 4. Here we go. There are 2 books in the series that don't have food in the title. What are they? You're bigger and it's so fun to see the comments. There's always like a little bit of a lag and then it's just like okay, this was a little bit of a tough one, I think. In fact, I stumped my son with this one. So there are 2 books in the series that don't have an actual food reference in the title. What were they? They are Meet Your Baker and A Cup of Holiday Fear. Well done, Alicia. I'm impressed. I love it. I know, I didn't even realize that at the time, but my editor pointed that out because everything else is like batter, fudge, bread. There's always something foodie in the title. Well done, Olivia. Meet Your Baker. Well done, you guys. I'm super impressed. Oh, yeah, Jamie, that's a good point. Another one bites the crust. I still think crust is, a food item, but yeah, well done. Okay, let's move on to question number 5. How y'all doing? Are you feeling good? Let me know. Okay, question number 5. How many books are set in the winter? And then I have a bonus question for you. What are the title of those books? So the first thing I want to know is how many books have been set in the winter? And part 2 is what are their titles? Okay. Stephanie says these are getting harder. They are getting harder. I told you, we got to have some challenges, right? I'm doing pretty badly, but I love all your books. It's okay, Kim. That's why I said there are no wrong answers today. This is just for fun and a nice way to maybe challenge your brain. Okay, so Victoria has 2 guesses. On thin icing and a cup of holiday fear. Yep, that's 2. I wonder if anyone has any other guess. Oh no, you lost your sound. Hopefully it comes back on. Let's see, 6. Somebody has a guess of 6. 3. Steph, yes, more than 1. Let's see. Shall we reveal the answer? Dun, dun, dun. Okay. There are, this is great. It builds the suspense. 4. On thin icing, caught red-handed, fudge and jury, and a cup of holiday fear are all set during the winter in Ashland, during the off season, so to speak. Caught red-handed takes place in January, and Fudge and Jury takes place at the beginning of March. So we're transitioning seasons in that book, but technically 4 at this point in time, and maybe more to come, but I won't say yet. All right, well done. Moving on. Liz guessed it and got it right. Woohoo! Sometimes you just got to go with your gut or a great guess. That's what I say. Okay, let's go on to our next question. What city did Jules go to culinary school in? You ready? Ooh, I like these answers. I really appreciate that a few of you thought it was Paris. I should have made her go to culinary school in Paris. That would have been much better. And then I would have had an excuse to have to go to Paris myself for research. It was not Paris though, and it was not Portland. It was New York. She leaves the cocoon of Ashland to go to the big city and find her way in the world, which is part of her bigger story, I think, because then, of course, she finds her way back home again, which is something that I think resonates with all of us, that idea of coming home and finding home and what home means. So, very well done. Crumbs, I don't know. Well, I like the use of crumbs. Okay, we're moving on to question 7. Here we go. Where does Lance work and what is his official job title? I love it. I'm impressed. I really am enjoying. I'm having as much fun just watching your ideas and guesses come through as hopefully you're having coming up with them. Some of you are super sleuths when it comes to the bake shop. Lance, who becomes Jules' bestie, as many of you know over time, is employed at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, and his official title is artistic director. That is something that he likes to remind everyone in town and, flaunt everywhere he goes. A lot of you got that right. I'm super impressed. And for anyone who's new to this series, the Oregon Shakespeare Festival is not fictional. It really is here in Ashland. It's an amazing company that puts on the gamut of shows, from Shakespeare in the Elizabethan outside to modern art and voices on stage that have not always been able to have a voice. So it's one of my favorite. Okay, let's see. We're moving on to question number 8. What's the name of the professor and Jules' dad's acting club? I feel like this one's going to be a tough one, but I don't know. So let's see what you got. Okay, this one was tough. This is definitely not something that might like jump out off the page. I love this. It's okay if you're a newbie. Remember, there are no wrong answers. I'm just glad you're here and joining us, and I promise no spoilers. And Kim, yes, I love describing Lance's clothes. In fact, I'm working on edits for book 13 right now, and I spent like most of the day yesterday looking through men's fashion to see what he would be wearing. Book 13 is going to be set in the summer, so I was thinking like, oh, what does Lance look like in the summer? I don't necessarily see him as a boat short kind of guy, but maybe with some nice loafers. Okay, what is the name? Ah, Jamie got it. It's the Midnight Club. Yes. Lance, the professor and Jules' dad, Will, who we're going to get to meet in book 11 that comes out next week, Nothing But Trouble, are part of a midnight acting club. And this concept came about for me because when I was first writing Meet Your Baker, I met with a friend who was the marketing director for the Oregon Shakespeare Festival for many years. And she told me that there used to be kind of this like secret club of Shakespeare buffs who would meet at midnight in the Black Swan Theater and, share their love of Shakespeare and put on fun, whimsical productions just amongst themselves. So I loved that concept. All right. How y'all feeling? Phew. You good? You're still ready? Give me a thumbs up if you want to keep going. Hopefully you're still having fun. I've got lots more to hit you up with. Okay. All right. Whew. Take a breath. Get ready. Take a sip of water. Moving on to the next question. What trick, oh, this is one of my favorites. What trick does Jules use when she's making her coffee at home? At home, that's the key. Okay, ready? Go. It's getting harder, Chad. It's not even hard. We're not even to the hard part yet. Come on, bring it, man. No, I'm just kidding. One of the things that I love most about writing this series, which I know I've said a zillion times and you're probably tired of hearing, but I get to spend a lot of time with real pastry chefs, with real artisan baristas, and I interview them because I want the food writing in the series to feel really authentic. And over the years, I've amassed so many tips like this one. And this is a favorite tip that I still use today. Jules warms up water in her coffee cup in the microwave to keep the cup hot. Right? If you haven't done this, I highly suggest you try it at home. Heat up a warm cup of water for a minute or two, and then when you pour your coffee in, your cup is already steaming hot. Like, that's so genius. Shannon says, I've just seen your books on Bros That Bond. Yay, I'm so excited. I just did a video with the Bros last night. I love the Bros so much. We're doing a collaboration. They have been baking buns and they're going to be sharing them every day. They've made an entire 80s throwback bunt theme that we're going to launch together. And I'm going to do a watch party live here next Tuesday at 5 o'clock with the Bros. I'll be advertising it, but they are the most amazing bakers, and I can't wait to share my interview with you all. Okay, it looks like a lot of you got that right. Good job. Yes, she does warm up her mug. I love it. Ooh, cinnamon's not a bad idea. You can't go wrong with a little splash of cinnamon. I like that. Excellent. Okay, who's ready to move on? Here we go. Question, I don't even know what we're on. 10. My tech guy says 10. Okay. Ooh, this is tough. Okay, so for any newbies, this is a little farther into the series, so don't worry. Just take a random guess for fun, because maybe your guess will be something I use in a future book. What was the name of Bethany's business before she joined the team at Tort? Okay. Something brownies. Yes, yes, yes. You're on the right track. Oh, I like Baker's Delight. I seriously want to take notes for some of these because I'm always looking for fun baking titles to work into the series. You know, if Jules has a friend who has a bake shop or something. It was a brownie place. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, Jen Thomas is crushing it. The Unbeatable Brownie. Bethany owned a little private brownie delivery business that she was baking out of her home kitchen, the Unbeatable Brownie. If you are new to the series, you will discover this in Fudge and Jury. So don't worry, you've got like 4 or 5 books to go. But I love that you're all thinking brownies. Well done. I'm so impressed. Good job. Nice work. I'm loving it. I know, Megan, yes, in future versions of trivia, I'm telling you, if you have, you know, a set of books at home, feel free to just cheat away. I might have to give you more time. Yes, Carolyn, she did deliver them. And I love that concept. I want a brownie delivery place in my real life. Someone make that and I will order from you. Okay, who's ready to move on to the next question? Let's do it. Number 11. In what book does Jules bake a Bavarian chocolate cake? This is tough. I like one of these comments that came through. The thing of work is getting in the way. Yeah, work does get in the way. You know, on that note, I'm trying to do lives on Friday mornings because I want to set some time so that you can kind of plan for them and you know it's going to take place every week. So Friday morning is nice because I know some readers that are not in the United States can participate on Friday mornings, but I'm also going to shoot for a Tuesday early evening West Coast time, so probably like 5 o'clock. But I would love to hear from you if there are better times of day for you. Okay, so what book does Jules bake a Bavarian chocolate cake? I added this question because I feel like it might be tricky. Like your first thought might be Fudge and Jury because it's a whole book about chocolate, but it is actually, are you ready? A Batter of Life and Death. In this book, Jules is part of Take the Cake, a baking competition, and that came about because I am a giant fan of Great British Bake Off. Any baking show on the Food Network, I watch it, and so that book was a little bit of a nod to baking competitions, and Jules, of course, had to compete in one, right? Well done. Some of you got it, but I'm not surprised that Fudge and Jury is a great second guess. Well done. Well done. Oh, Chad. Oh, see, Chad, and you said they were getting harder. And then you nail it. Way to go. Okay, here we go. Moving on. Gotta get to it. Okay. Ooh, yeah, I like this one. What kind of a tattoo does Sterling have on his arm? And your bonus question is, what is the significance of the tattoo? Sterling fans, this one's for you. Bake Off. It is so good. You know what I love about the Great British Bake Off is they're all so nice to each other. You know, our American version would be totally cutthroat, but in the Bake Off, they're all so supportive of each other, which I think is absolutely the way Tort would be if Tort was hosting some sort of competition like that. Okay, Sterling. Who's a Sterling fan? I love our little Sterling so much. He was initially not going to be a recurring character. I won't give you any background on that because I promise no spoilers for this one. But I will just say that initially when I sketched him out, I did not think he was going to be a long-term character in the series. And then I wrote the first draft of Meet Your Baker and I absolutely fell in love with him. And I have really enjoyed getting to develop his growth arc as the series has continued. And there's even more to come for Sterling. So, okay, who knows what is on his arm? Are you ready? It is a hummingbird, and he got it to honor the memory of his mom. And I think one of the reasons that I love writing him as a character is that he and Jules have this connection based on their grief. They've both lost parents young, and so they just immediately have that depth and understanding that they get to go through together. And even though he's younger than her, he can offer some wise, sage advice, and it's a really reciprocal, respectful relationship, which I love. I also enjoy the fact that even though the cast of characters is young in the Bakeshop series, they are not, I don't portray them as being flaky or irresponsible. They're all just wonderful young people. And I think there are so many great young people in the world. I know I'm biased because I have a teenager in my life, but I like getting to portray kids who are just doing amazing things out in the world because that really is happening. Okay, that's my little side. Good job on the hummingbird. Yes, I'm glad you love Sterling, Megan. Every time I get to write him, I have this little sweet spot in my heart for him. I'm glad I kept him too. Yeah, he's a gem. And like I said, there's some new developments that will be happening with Sterling and Andy, actually the entire crew. That's the gift of writing a series that's going on for so long. I get to know myself, these secondary characters, even better. Okay, let's see. Are we ready to move on to the next one? Are you still with me? Is anyone ready to bail? Is it too intense? I hope not. Okay, here we go. Who does Andy live with? Oh, we're getting into the staff now. Who does our favorite boy wonder barista, Andy, live with? I'm totally cracking up over this one. I have to go back to Sterling before we answer the Andy question because Chad said eventually he'll get a portrait of Stephanie tattooed. Yeah, he will. He totally will. That's no joke. And you may have already read my mind, so. Okay, let's talk about Andy for a second. I also adore Andy. Andy is based loosely on a friend of mine, and I just think he's so sincere and earnest, and yet he has this deep, deep appreciation for coffee. And he has this palate that is amazing for someone in his early 20s. The new book that I'm working on right now, book 13, is going to be all Andy's book. As the series has grown, I've tried to give each of the secondary characters a little bit more of the spotlight. And so Andy's really going to shine in book 13. There's actually another subplot with Andy that's happening too, but that's just your little tip. Okay, so who does our favorite barista live with? He lives with his grandmother, which again is just another thing that's so endearing about him. Of course he lives with his Good job, Lenora. Very, very well done. I like it. That was a tough one. I think I might have got you with that. Lenora gets the grand prize. All right. You're still with me? You're still ready. We've got, I don't know, how many more? 7 more. Can you handle 7 more? Give me a thumbs up. Tell me if you're ready to bail. Okay, we're moving on. What is the name of the chain restaurant that moves into the plaza in Caught Bread Handed? This is going to be tough for you newbies, but again, on this one, just hit me with your punniest ideas, okay? And then your bonus question is, what is their slogan and tagline? Or tagline, not and. Slogan or tagline. Okay, go for it. I love watching the comments. The idea of book 13 being called a baker's dozen is brilliant. I can't wait for book 13 to come out because I feel like then the books need to be delivered in like a pastry box of a baker's dozen. And I'm with you on, I could have a crush on Andy or Sterling, but of course they're too young for me as well. Alas, we can just dream about them in fiction. Okay, so this question was from Caught Bread Handed. So this is book 4. Is that right? Yeah, book 4. I have to quiz myself. Book 4, Caught Bread Handed. A chain restaurant moves on to the plaza. Now, a quick little aside here. Ashland, the plaza, as I describe it, is also pretty true in real life. There are no chain restaurants in the plaza proper at all. It's all just family-owned mom and pop shops, restaurants. Ashland put together a city ordinance many years ago that did not allow chains or anything with neon and flashing lights to come into the plaza. So in book 4, in Caught Bread Handed, there is huge controversy because a chain restaurant named Shakesburgers moves in, and they have the most awful gaudy neon sign that says, "Our burgers make your buns shake." So I just loved that because there really would be a giant uproar in Ashland. It would be murder worthy to have a chain restaurant move onto the plaza. It just could not happen. I'm super impressed that a lot of you got this right. Good memories, especially if you've already long surpassed Caught Bread Handed. Well done. I also think that someone who wants to start a hamburger and shake shop should take my name idea and run with that. Like, how great would that be? I would actually want to go to Shakesburgers. I'm impressed that some of you got the tagline too. Okay, we're moving on. Get ready for question number 15. What song does Steph's dorm mate sing repeatedly that drives her crazy? Bonus question is, what does she listen to get the song out of her head? This one is a tough one too, and it is definitely not for newbies, so let's do it. I'm cracking up. Buns and Noble. Yes, I'm all in for that. Oh, that's so great. Okay. I thought Shakespeare. See, I get too distracted. All right. So Steph has a dorm mate who is practicing for a production of this play that she is singing over and over and over, and Steph cannot get it out of her head. What's the play? It is Oklahoma. And what does she sing, or what does she switch to get it out of her head? Hamilton, of course, Hamilton. Now, the funny little story that I have to tell here is when I was working on this book, I just like picked Oklahoma out of nothing because I thought, like, what's a song that would drive Steph crazy? Steph is our sort of sullen barista who actually has a really tender heart. And Oklahoma came to mind. And then the craziest thing is the next year, OSF, or maybe it was like 2 months later, OSF released their lineup for the next year. And what production did OSF put on? Oklahoma. It's like that whole bizarre thing. What came first? Did I will that to happen? Did I pick that up in the ether? I don't know, but Oklahoma, yes. Someone says Jules gives her earplugs. Yes, she does. Jules is always up for a solution, and earplugs, you know, come on. I love Hamilton too, and we have Disney Plus, which means that next week we get to stream the Hamilton movie. I cannot wait. It comes out July 3rd. It's already marked on my calendar. Woohoo! Okay, moving on. We've just got a few questions left. Are you still with me? Hopefully you're still having fun. Okay, how many books take place outside of Ashland? So I'm not counting Nothing But Trouble because you haven't read it yet. So in the first 10 books in the series, how many of them take place outside of Ashland? Okay, how many books take place outside of Ashland? So far in the series, 2 books, On Thin Icing and A Crime of Passion Fruit, take place outside of Ashland. In On Thin Icing, Jules travels up to Lake of the Woods, which is a real rustic high lake resort here in Southern Oregon, to cater a board party for Lance and the board of directors for the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. That book becomes kind of like an Agatha Christie style locked room because they get snowed in, and so Jules has to solve the murder up at this remote lake lodge. And then in A Crime of Passion Fruit, she gets invited to come back for a short stint as the pastry chef for the cruise ship that she worked for has stormed off in a huff. So she goes back to the ship and does a couple weeks there. And of course, there's a murder on board. I like getting to send her away from Ashland a little bit, but I know we all love her being in Ashland probably more than anything. So I don't have any plans to send her away anytime soon. Yay, Liz, you were right. I love that you're right. One on a cruise ship, the other not sure. Okay, see, this is good. I'm loving it. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you're still having fun. Tell me if you're just trivia'd out and we want to stop at 15. I've got 5 more questions that we can do if you're still loving this. So let me know. 5 or 4? 4. I have 4 more questions that we can do if you're enjoying it. So let me know. That one made your pulse quicken. Good. I want your pulse to be going. It's Friday. It's intense. We got trivia. Okay, you're loving it. All right. Let's see. Okay, I'm seeing thumbs up, so we'll do 4 more. 4 more. Here we go. And we gotta wait. Okay, what's the first thing that Jules bakes at Tort when she returns to Ashland? What's the very first thing she bakes? Hit me. Oh my goodness. Your ideas, your guesses are making me hungry. Now I want cheesecake. I want chocolate chip cookies. I also did, just to circle back briefly to the cruise ship, one of the reasons that I sent her to the cruise ship is so that we could really get a sense of what that life was for her and for Carlos there on the ship. And that would help inform her whether or not she was meant to go back to the cruise ship or come back home. So no spoilers there, but that was purposeful, and there's lots more to come on that as she's inching closer to making a decision about her love life. Okay, what is the very first thing she baked at Tort? A raspberry Danish. Now, this recipe is personal to me because this was my mom's original recipe for raspberry Danish. She would make it in the summer after we went raspberry picking. So we would make our own homemade raspberry jam, which is also potentially involved in the murder for Meet Your Baker. And when I was growing up, I remember my mom would bake this, and my brother and I would be downstairs watching cartoons, and it seemed like it just took hours. It's this beautiful, like gooey, kind of like cakey, almost cinnamon roll bread dough that then you smother with raspberry jam and a delicious buttercream frosting, and it seemed like it took forever. And then when I made it as an adult, it takes like 30 minutes. It's one quick rise. It's super easy. That recipe is the first recipe in the back of Meet Your Baker. So if you want to bake it at home, go grab your copy and you could bake it this weekend. In fact, I think I need to bake it this weekend now. All right. I know, it's so good. It's supposed to be gooey and smotherly, like smotherly, that's not even a word. It's supposed to be good, and the jam and raspberries kind of smother together. That's what I was wanting to say, and create this decadent glaze on the top. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. There's something about food memories that are just so strong, and I hope that that's one thing that comes through if you read these books or this series, that food is a love language and that it's meant to be shared and experienced together. Okay, here we go. Moving on. We're down to the final 3 questions. What store is Jules' apartment located above? I know, I have to tell you, when I'm writing these books, especially because I told you I'm working on book 13 right now, and I'm in the phase of edits where I'm really starting to dive deep into the food and what Jules is really baking at Tort. And it's just torture because I'll write a few pages and then I'll think, I should probably go eat that just to make sure I'm describing it right for you. It's not good. It's really not good. Food is dangerous. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so where is Jules' apartment? It is located above Elevation, the outdoor store. Well done. You all got it. So there really is an outdoor store. It is not called Elevation, but there is an amazing outdoor store on the plaza in Ashland, and it has these funky set of steps that lead upstairs, not to an apartment. I think it's just offices above, but I always thought that would be perfect because Jules could have this little apartment, walk down the stairs, take a left, and be like 3 doors down from where Tort sits in my mind at the edge of the plaza. Nice work. Okay, we're down to the last 2. Are you still with me? Get those thinking caps on. Let's see where we're at. Question number 19, sorry. What production is OSF kicking off in Another One Bites the Crust? I like these guesses. So many good things. You know, I was thinking yesterday when I was working on edits for book 13, at some point, am I going to run out of Shakespeare plays? I can't imagine. But then it's okay because I know OSF has done canon like multiple times and they just reinvent it and switch up the cast, maybe have gender neutral casts and do interesting things with it. So I'm not worried. I was worried for a minute, but I let that thought go. There are always so many great options, but for this particular one, Lance is getting ready to put on a production of Dun Dun Dun, Anthony and Cleopatra. And he's throwing a huge bash and has grandiose plans, as Lance always does. One thing I love about writing this particular series is that because it's set in Ashland, and Ashland is such an artistic and thespian town, that I get to play up that drama and flair a little bit more. Like if this series was set in Portland, it wouldn't have that same level of authenticity because you'd be like, oh, come on. But it is not unbelievable to see someone walking around in like a full gesture costume on the plaza or with a sword, or see people, you know, doing Renaissance dancing in the park. I love that. And I love getting to weave in those little touches of Shakespeare. Okay, we've got one question left, our final question of the day, and then I will talk through how we're going to wrap this up. Who said never underestimate the power of pastry? I love this comment from Sean. I was hoping that maybe even if you haven't read the entire series, that with no spoilers, this gives you a little insider look, I guess, into some of the other characters and kind of the arc of where the series is going to go. So I'm super happy to hear that. Okay, our last question, save the best for last. Who says never underestimate the power of pastry? That has to be none other than Helen, Jules' mom. Helen always has such wise and loving advice. She is loosely based and inspired by my mom, who was a therapist. She was a school counselor, and so she would always get my friends and I talking because she would whip up delicious brownies and homemade cakes and pastries and get us talking around the dining room table, and that was like her form of listening, and I love getting to write Helen in that way. Well done, everyone. I hope you had a great time with this. I had so much fun putting these questions together. I would love your feedback on your thoughts about this first iteration of our trivia. I have some ideas for how we could do it again that would make it even more challenging and a bit more competitive, shall we say, that will involve downloading a score sheet ahead of time, and we would be keeping score remotely ourselves, and then you would be submitting those to me. So that's one thought. If you had fun with this, I think that it's something that we could definitely do again, maybe on a semi-regular basis for prizes, of course. There always have to be prizes and winners. But today's version was just for fun as we inch closer to release day next Tuesday. So everyone who has participated and commented during this actual live broadcast is going to get a signed book plate. What I want you to do now, I want you to really listen to this. Do not, I repeat, do not do not say this in the comments. I want you to send me your name and your mailing address in a private Facebook message. Do not post your address in the comments because this is a public forum, so anyone would see your address. So do not, what are we doing? I know, I'm sorry, but I want to make sure that no one posts their address because I don't want that shared. So you're going to send me a private message if you want a signed book plate. here on Facebook, and then I will send those out in the next week or so. I'll sign them, send them out to you. That's for anyone who's participated right now who wants one. If you don't want one, that's fine too. I won't be offended. But if you want a signed book plate, send me a private message, and then I will go through and I'm going to pick 5 comments at random. You don't have to have the right answers for any of this. This was all just for fun today. I will pick 5 random comments and I'm going to send out 5 signed copies of Nothing But Trouble and maybe put in a little bonus item as well. I'll do that later this afternoon, and I'll send you a private message and message you here if you're one of those winners. I hope you had a great time. I would seriously love feedback about whether you want to do this again and what else we could do with it. Yay, you're going to go reread the series. That's awesome. I love rereading series. And then just briefly, I want to let you know that on Tuesday, on release day, I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live with Paddington Station here in Ashland on their Facebook page at 1 o'clock. They have the most amazing collection of bunt pans that you've ever seen, and they've got some special giveaways. So we'll be live on their Facebook page. And then I'm also going to do a watch party here on my Facebook channel at 5 o'clock Pacific Coast time with the Bros That Bunt. We're going to talk about how they came to be, that we're going to share their beautiful bunts that they have baked in celebration of the new book. And they also have amazing tips. If you're afraid of bunt cakes, you have to come be part of the watch party with me because they have some of the best tips that I have now learned myself. So that's all part of my release day launch schedule. I also have a massive giveaway that involves bunts and books that I'll be announcing with the Bros That Bunt. And then next week, I have a whole lineup of bookstore events with Murder by the Book, The Poison Pen, Rebel Heart Books. I'll be sharing all those events here. So I hope that you'll come join me for more fun release week celebrations. I had the best time today. I had to put my own thinking cap on to come up with these questions, but you know, we have 11 books soon, so I think there are going to be plenty of opportunities for more trivia if you enjoyed this. Oh, what's a book plate? That's a great question. So a book plate is a sticker that I sign. I had them designed, so they're really fun. I don't think I have one right here. I should have had one, sorry. They're these really cute skull and retro headphone stickers from the cover of Nothing But Trouble, and I will sign them, and then you can just tuck them into your book. So it's the same as getting a signed book. They're awesome. And they're really fun. Yay. All right. I love, someone says, thank God. Joanna says, thank God we didn't have to have the right answers. No, but next time you will. No, I'm just kidding. I hope you had fun. That was the whole goal. As always, thanks for joining me for this live. And I look forward to seeing you all next week for even more bunt fun. Have a great weekend, everybody.